I am cooking, guys. I am cooking really, really hard, right? Hey, you might as well just call me Uncle P because I'm cooking really, really hard, right? So I have been playing. Look at it, right? This is 3 a.m. by the way. I was up all night last night after I ended the stream to try the Varga of HSR, right? The Varga of HSR in the early. So I already know how bro works, right? Because usually when I get like the creator server, it's like around the time of the live stream. But like we actually get it, I guess, a day before, which is pretty good. So I gotta test my things a little bit early. So whatever they're gonna show in the live stream later on, there will be no corn reactions, right? They'll be like, oh my, bro, like I already know, right? I already know exactly what bro does. The thing with Ash, right, is he's a breath of fresh air, if I can say so myself, right? So okay, for those knowers, right? For those knowers, are you guys not sick and tired of team building in Honkai Star being delegated to run in the same path over and over and over again for like the past one version, right? As long as you run everyone, your mom is gonna be Remembrance, you're gonna be doing fine, right? And then as long as you're gonna be running like Elation, everyone's gonna be doing fine. Flint's, or rather, oh my god, Ashveil, he reminds me of a simpler times back in those days where team building is not as straightforward as just use the same path and then get it over and done with. For the flagship anyways, right? Ashveil, he is a very interesting character because to be completely fair, right? To be completely fair, a lot of y'all are gonna skip Ashveil. Alright? Let's just stop lying, right? You can caught, right? A lot of y'all are gonna be skipping Ashveil because his banner placement is just really not that good. Right? We're gonna be getting 4.2 anniversary. We're gonna be getting the Elation DPS, right? We're gonna be getting EMC, right? Half of y'all don't even know what the fuck is a facial. Half of y'all's facial is like fucking E0, right? There's no real purpose if you were to pull Ashveil right now. Because the way that I see him is he is essentially a version 4 Anexa. That is like the best way I can describe Ashveil, right? I can see him as a version 4 Anexa, except that he has a lot more potential than Anexa. Because Anexa's support capabilities, right? Okay, like, bro, I don't know. I don't look at leaguers. But if you just take a look at Anexa's support capability, right? You just take a look at his kit when it comes to his sub-DPS is really not that impressive, right? So aside from his skill point neutrality with the weakness bar damage, or rather toughness bar damage, the only other real buff is basically this. That is pretty much it. And like most of the time, y'all don't even give a shit, right? So a lot of times you will just end up running Anexa as a hyper carry because his innate skills and like his talent and everything, it works so well as a hyper carry. But Ashveil, I think like at least from what I have personal experience, is that he has a lot more potential to be a real sub-DPS. Like how Anexa was intended to be the Herda, except that we don't have a version 4 main DPS in the same caliber as a version 4 DPS that they have so far, which is essentially going to be like the Elation units, right? Or at least closer to like the Remembrance flagship power scaling, right? Or like, for example, like Final Order comes up, right? Because the last, Kangen, thank you so much for the sentiments, thank you. So like, the only other like best in slot follow-up attack DPS is essentially Facial. Right, it's essentially Facial, right? And as much as I love Facial, bro, I love Facial, right? In case you guys can't tell, because Facial is the best DPS in the now. As much as I love Facial, cost for cost, purely from multipliers alone, she just doesn't really match up, right? Because she is a version 2 DPS, right? So I think what needs to happen right now is I need to slender my wife because based on past track records, whoever I slender gets buffed. I slender Hue gets buffed. I slender Firefly gets buffed. So from now on, bro, we need to slender Facial way more and say like Facial is the worst DPS in the entire world so that Facial can get a Nova Flare before aggro, right? I think that is gonna be our main objective, right? I'm gonna need to get Phase Out and Nova Flare. So every single stream from now on, we're just gonna, oh my god, bro, Phase Out sucks ass, bro. She's ass cheeks, bro. We're gonna send her every single day so that when she does get a Nova Flare, ooh, that will be all according to my plan, right? That will be all according to my plan. So aside from Phase Out, we don't really have any other proper like follow-up attack kind of DPS that's gonna be synergizing that well with Ashveil to the point where you want to run him as a sub-DPS because we don't have IPC Island, which I am guessing, I'm hoping we'll see more options for Ashveil because IPC Miss Topaz is a hunt follow-up. Aventurine used to be the follow-up team. Jade is basically semi-follow-up anyways, right? So like, I really think IPC is probably gonna be getting a suitable main DPS for Ashveil to run Ashveil's cheeks inside in that team. And when that happens, I think it will be a way more appropriate time to actually pull for Ashveil. So if you are thinking of his pull value, unless you are an elitist, specifically an elitist that wants to run him as like either sustainless hyper carry, or you want to run him in like a Phase Out team where your Phase Out really has a lot of cost, like your E2 Phase Out, E2 Bubbin. I don't think that's too much of a sense getting bro right now, because you could just wait for a version 4 big boy DPS that can actually make full use of Ashveil. And then by that time, I'm guessing they're kind of rerun his banner, right? Because they always rerun the goddamn support or the sub-DPS whenever the main DPS comes out. So I think that would be like way more appropriate to go ahead and get him, right? So those are going to be my 2 cents on my experience with Mr. Ashveil. Is Ashveil personal DPS? He is hella fucking good. Hella fucking good. We can't really discuss what he actually does under the live stream. But at this moment, right? At this very moment, with the units that we have right now, cost for cost, I cleared 1 cycle using Hyper Carry Ashveil, which is faster than Sub-DPS Ashveil when I was running Ashveil Phase Out. Yep, so his damage is really, really good, right? But the thing is, that is not bro's identity. His identity is not to be a main. It's almost like running Evernight as a main DPS at Israel. She's fine, but she has a lot more room to grow if you're gonna run them as a whole ass sub-DPS. But the problem is, if he is a sub-DPS, the main DPS right now is not on the same caliber as the version 4 DPS standards. So it will lead to this. Okay, like for example, right? Let's just say, this is his potential if he was a sub-DPS with a old main DPS. This is his potential if he is a main DPS by himself with the buffers and supports of what we have right now, right? Like Sunday, Tribute, all that kind of stuff, right? So in the future, the moment he gets a better main DPS, his sub-DPS potential plus a newer main DPS will definitely exceed his current main DPS potential. Am I making sense? Do I make sense? Yes? MrPokke? Alright, fantastic. Alright, and there with this, right? I just need to make sure before we get cancelled. Because he really is not bad, guys. Alright? He genuinely is not bad, right? If you want a 0 cycle, he can get you a 0 cycle. If you want to do a hyper carry, he can get you a hyper carry. It is just that he can't be utilized, right? His value can't be utilized right now. And the pool value for bro, right? The pool value for bro is just not there, right? I cannot really recommend a good pool value.
Mr. Sering becomes Mr. Ashveil once again fighting the Doom poster.
Okay. There's a very big difference, chat. Wait, there's an extremely big difference between whether should you pull for bro now or how good is bro now. If Ashveil was a free unit, bro, people will lose their shit, bro. The thing is, he is not a free unit, right? So you need to spend your strategies. That's the biggest thing, right? His performance is there. It's definitely there. It is just that your opportunity cost of getting Ashveil is the risk of losing 4.2 anniversary, as well as just not having a dedicated lineup made for bro in this version. Right, so there's a big difference between pool value and its actual performance. Right, so I didn't want to do anybody. He is not like he is legitimately like an extra, but for version 4. That is like the best way I can see, bro. Right, that's the best way I can see, bro. So that is pretty much. He looks trash. I mean, like, follow-up is not fully out, which is why his main value is pretty much just gonna be coming out from hyper carry. You're just gonna run out in hyper carry. Yep. His performance is okay. Right, it's okay. He can. I don't really know if he can zero cycle Sparksicle at like low cost, because Sparksicle is very hard to do sustainless. But in the next MOC, which I didn't reveal, he's actually really, really fucking good. Okay, actually, no leakers, right? No leakers. What do you guys think the next MOC is? Because this, you don't need to be a leaker to guess, right? You just need to understand how HSR endgame content works. Because for every single unit, there is a boss that makes that unit work very well. So you can just guess, right? So what do you think would be the next MOC where a follow-up attack DPS single target guy like Ashveil, like what kind of boss would he be really good in? That also has a lightning weakness. Right? Let's guess. I'm not gonna say yes or no, right? I'm not gonna say yes, but if y'all can guess it, that means you understand how HSR meta works, right? I'm not gonna say yes or no. So, anyone wanna do 8180? Oh, it's Pollux. Yes. Yep, it's Pollux. Yep. The one fucking guy that is literally running DHP team, right? They showcase bro on DHP. Yeah, we're gonna see Pollux. Yes. Yep. We're definitely using this team against Pollux, right? Congratulations, right? You're such a good player. Okay, wait. I really want to kind of see if we do. Oh, right, chat. I need to finish war. Yay. What is she gathering this? What is she gathering? What could she possibly be gathering? That is very, very interesting. At least, bro, I really hope they just buff Facial before Acorn. Because look at this, guys. Facial is tier 5 in pure vision, guys. Whereas Acorn is 1.5. So I think between both, they should buff Facial first. So that Acorn can stay here, right? She can wait. Very good. Why do you think... Okay, wait. See, this is exactly what I mean. By people who are misrepresenting what I'm saying. All right? You are misrepresenting what I'm saying. So here's exactly what I'm saying, right? Ashveil, as a unit, his performance, right? Whether he is strong or weak, his performance is he is not weak. All right, Ashveil is not weak. I have never ever said that Ashveil is weak. But his pool value right now is just really, really awkward. Because if you pull for him right now, number one, if you are a casual, you are probably pulling for flagships. Right? You don't want to think about it too much. You don't want to think about team building. You want to just pull for flagship and get it over and done with. Fair enough. So it's a very awkward timing, especially when his treatment is almost like the Ban UFO treatment. Number two, you don't know what is his main DPS in version 4. We don't have a main DPS in version 4 that can work well with Ashveil, right? Because in version 4, we only see Sparksy, and then it's going to be all Elation, right? And Elation, the odds of you running Ashveil is not going to be that high, right? And number three, if you do run him as Sub-DPS, because the ceiling right now is tied by Facial, a version 2 DPS that didn't get any buffs, it is very difficult for him to rise up the power of a version 2 main DPS. So just end up running him as a main DPS himself. So that is the issue with Ashveil's pool value, right? Pool value. In the future, if they were to release a IPC island with a IPC hunt, with a hunt follow-up that is like the version 4 equivalent of like Facial, right? Which I hope it doesn't happen, but even if it does, I will still love Facial. It is what it is. If that happens, then I'm guessing they will probably rerun Ashveil because Ashveil will actually have a team to work with. So at that particular scenario, that's when you can say, oh, okay, he has a lot higher pool value. Because you already know what is a DPS you can run it with. Right now, you don't. So you're only purely pulling him for his capabilities as a main DPS himself, which is not utilizing his sub-DPS portion. So, what? Is Sena gonna use Ashveil? Yes. Jiao Chiu is dead in a ditch. You're absolutely right, guys. But Shadow? Honestly, if you think about it, right? Why do you think HSR keep releasing support and sub DPS dispatch before the main DPS? Because that has been a situation for the entirety so far, right? They released the Outguang and Sparksy before the main DPS. And they were hindered to work the main DPS. Now they release Ashveil, a unit with a sub DPS kit, but is forced to be a main DPS if you want to deal the highest possible amount of damage. So it's almost as if like they want to keep the player base more unaware of what to pull for specifically. Which is it will be harder to determine pool values, essentially. I don't really know if it's FOMO, because you don't even know what you're missing out on. How do you fear missing out on something when you don't know the thing that you're missing out? It's more so just like uncertainty, right? There are like more uncertainty as to what you want for your team. Because it's like, if you release Evernight before Castro, Cyrene, and Hyzine, you don't really know how Evernight's found team is going to look like, right? You're probably going to be guessing, okay, Evernight, Mimi, Tribi, and like Gallagher. But if they release Evernight as, okay, just imagine, right? Imagine instead of releasing Casterus on the Casterus patch, they release Evernight first. If that happened, you would find a much more weird predicament, because ESO adds on Evernight with only Mimi, Tribi, and Hyzine, or the Gallagher, you don't know why you want Eevee to die. Because there's no one for you to generate new butt, and the actions for Eevee don't count towards Cyrene's remembrance decks. So it's like a very similar thing. They release Sparksy and they release Yaoguang, but you don't know what is the anniversary main DPS going to be doing, right? You don't know if they're going to be doing, if they care more about Aha Instance. You don't know if they want more punchlines. You don't know if there are going to be two different main DPS. Are you even going to build two different Elation flagships at the same team? With a different team, right? So it is like more uncertainty, right? Okay, and to be fair, M4S had a lot of main DPS. A lot. Whereas like in Planet Arcadia, because they're going to split half-half, I'm guessing half is Elation. The other half is whatever the Ashveil is going to be doing. Then maybe they have like a third team that we don't really know just yet. Oh, wait, chat. I think I know what is the third team. Silly Chen. This is the third team. The next collab banner, right? When they release the next collab banner, which is the official Demon Slayer mobile, where we're gonna be running Zenitsu, with Kyojiro, right? Kyojiro Rengoku, with Tanjiro-kun, Giyu, and Shinobu. That's when you know our brand new DPS path will unlock right here, right? And there with this holy collab, absolutely, right? Bro, I like how this player is in battle, right? Player is in fact in battle, which is holy shit. I don't think. Okay, Jet, no leakers, right? No leakers. If they really were to make another collab banner, I feel that it would make more sense to just wrap up Fate's banner. Right? Because, like, I mean, the Fate story was a little bit not concluded properly. Alright? There was some, like, strings left that they didn't finish. Right? If you guys listen to the Fate story, alright? And they had Lancer's model. Right? And there could be, like, a Rinto saga right? That could be like a Gilgamesh, right? And I think like it makes more sense to just wrap up this fate banner and give it a proper ending, and then they go bye-bye, right? We all say bye-bye to all the villains, everyone just goes, and then they move on to the next collab, like next year or something, which will be making more sense, right? It will make more sense, because I just don't understand why they have a Lancer model, right? So, yep, and there it is, Gilgamesh will be a crazy good battle. But the reason why I don't think it's Gilgamesh is because they already have a Lancer model. And if they are going to be making a Lancer model, it means their other unit is probably going to be female, right? There's no way they are going to make a double male banner with Gilgamesh and Lancer, right? So they are probably making like either Rinto Saga, Rider, or Kawawa. Right? They have to have like a one male and one female. I think that's how they're gonna be doing it. If they were to do it, right? If they were to do it, right? Maybe we'll get a Vita collab, bro. I have no idea what you do be saying, though. Right? I have no idea what you do be saying. Caster? Alright, Caster could work. Yeah, Caster could actually work. Which Gilgamesh version? The one I saw where he had the armor. Yes, the armor guy. Wait, chat. Give me 1 sec here. Gilgamesh will be episode cinema. You are absolutely right.
You have cooled your last cool, my man.